Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, where we bring you the inside track on all things automotive and beyond. Today, we're steering into the story of Coca-Cola, an emblem of American culture since 1886, and how tariffs on aluminum and steel have shaken the brand's foundation. While there's chatter about Coca-Cola possibly packing its bags and leaving the US, it's essential to note that these discussions are more about navigating political headwinds than an actual departure. Let's explore how this economic shift has impacted the company and what it signals for American manufacturing and supply chains. Coca-Cola's enduring American spirit faces new challenges. Coca-Cola's bright red and white logo has been a staple in American households for decades, but today, it's confronting an identity crisis of sorts. The Trump administration's 25% tariffs on imported aluminum and steel have hit the beverage giant hard, forcing a rethink on how it packages its iconic drinks. With aluminum cans becoming pricier, Coca-Cola is weighing the shift to PET plastic bottles, an option that may save on costs, but fuels the ongoing debate about environmental responsibility. CEO James Quincy has hinted at this packaging pivot, underscoring the balancing act between financial prudence and ecological stewardship. While this move might patch up some short-term cost concerns, it's not without controversy, especially for a brand already under scrutiny for its environmental footprint. These developments underscore the broader tension facing multinational corporations, balancing national economic policies with global supply chains and environmental expectations. Coca-Cola's next steps will shape not just its brand image, but the public's perception of what it means to be an American icon in a shifting economic climate. Now let's see how these challenges ripple through Coca-Cola's supply chain in our next chapter. Tariffs disrupt the supply chain and spark strategic shifts. The 25% tariff on imported aluminum, much of which Coca-Cola sources from Canada, has triggered a cascade of supply chain complications. Aluminum, essential for the lightweight, corrosion-resistant beverage cans we all recognize, has become a hot commodity with an equally hot price tag. In a bid to curb these surging costs, Coca-Cola is exploring domestic sourcing options, or turning to countries not subject to the tariffs. Yet these workarounds only go so far. The company is also rethinking its packaging choices, with an increased focus on PET plastic bottles. While cheaper, these bottles are often less recyclable, raising environmental alarms. Beyond aluminum, Coca-Cola's supply chain has felt the sting in other ways. Key ingredients like sweeteners and flavorings, which come from Latin America and Asia, now face a more uncertain trade environment. This unpredictability has complicated the brand's efforts to maintain steady production and consistent pricing, adding an extra layer of turbulence to an already bumpy ride. Before we navigate further, hit that like and subscribe button to join the conversation. Here at Piston Pundit, we're tracking how global policies, trade wars, and environmental shifts impact not just cars, but the companies and communities behind them. With the supply chain challenges mapped out, let's transition to how Coca-Cola is restructuring its US operations. Plant closures and the asset-right strategy. In a move to streamline operations and adapt to the new economic reality, Coca-Cola has embraced what it calls an asset-right strategy. This involves focusing on core brand management, while outsourcing much of its bottling operations to third-party partners. One of the more somber notes in this shift was the announcement of the closure of the American Canyon bottling plant in Napa County, California. By June 30th, 2025, 135 jobs will vanish as production shifts to a third-party co-packer nearby. This closure isn't an isolated case. Coca-Cola has also trimmed down its global footprint, discontinuing around 200 underperforming brands and laying off roughly 2,200 employees worldwide as part of its post-pandemic cost-cutting measures. It's a leaner, more flexible Coca-Cola, but one that raises tough questions about job security and local economic health. But while some facilities are closing, Coca-Cola is also investing heavily in new domestic growth opportunities. Let's dive into one of those next. Investing in the heart of America, Birmingham's boom. While some facilities are shutting their doors, Coca-Cola is doubling down on others, particularly in Birmingham, Alabama. Here, the company is investing a whopping $330 million in a state-of-the-art campus that will house sales, distribution, and customer service operations. Located on the historic Stockham Valve property, this new headquarters isn't just a building, it's a statement. It's set to be a beacon for air traffic and a boost for local pride, promising to create up to 50 new jobs and secure the future of 750 current employees. City officials are celebrating this as a major win, recognizing the project's potential to rev up local economic growth and showcase Coca-Cola's ongoing commitment to its American roots. This move highlights how Coca-Cola is realigning its operations to meet economic pressures head-on, while still investing in communities that fuel its success. However, this story also carries weighty environmental implications. Let's steer into that next. Environmental ripple effects of packaging choices. Coca-Cola's pivot from aluminum cans to PET plastic bottles, fueled by the sting of tariffs, casts a long shadow over its environmental footprint. Aluminum cans, being lightweight and highly recyclable, have long been a more eco-friendly choice. However, with rising aluminum costs, the company is leaning into plastic, a move that stirred up quite a debate. Environmental groups have already fired a salvo, calling out Coca-Cola's heavy reliance on plastic, a material notorious for pollution and ocean waste. In response, the company has tried to counter the backlash with promises of recycling initiatives and waste reduction strategies. But let's face it, these efforts often feel like trying to put a dent in a massive oil barrel of plastic waste. For consumers who are increasingly savvy and eco-conscious, this packaging shift can't just be about cost savings, it's also about responsibility. As Coca-Cola navigates this change, the real question is, can they maintain their bottom line while genuinely stepping up their sustainability game? This leads us to the broader challenge. How do companies balance domestic policies with global operations? Let's explore that next. The tug-of-war between globalization and domestic policy. Coca-Cola's latest strategic maneuvers reflect a larger challenge that global brands face today: how to align international operations with homegrown economic policies. The company's potential pullback from US-based activities underscores the tricky balance between navigating domestic trade restrictions, like tariffs, and managing efficient global supply chains. This tug-of-war between national and global interests isn't unique to Coca-Cola. It's a growing concern for American manufacturing as iconic brands weigh the costs and benefits of staying on US soil. If these economic policies continue to tighten the screws, it could force a reevaluation of America's role as a business-friendly environment. Adding to the complexity is Coca-Cola's pivot from aluminum to plastic packaging, an environmentally charged move that tests how well financial realities and sustainability promises can coexist. In many ways, Coca-Cola's shifting strategy serves as a snapshot of how multinational giants must balance national identity, environmental responsibility, and global market pressures in today's economy. As we wrap up, let's put it all together in our final thoughts. Conclusion: steering through economic and environmental crossroads. Coca-Cola's recent decisions highlight the tightrope multinational giants walk when global supply chains collide with domestic economic policies. From shifting packaging strategies to closing US plants and investing in new hubs like Birmingham, these moves are pragmatic, yet reveal the complexities of balancing American identity with international realities. Importantly, while there's speculation about Coca-Cola's potential exit from the US, it's just that, speculation. Coca-Cola remains deeply invested in American operations, anchoring its heritage in new regional growth like the Birmingham campus. As the world becomes ever more interconnected, Coca-Cola's story becomes a lens through which we see the broader challenge: how to stay profitable, environmentally responsible, and true to national roots in a global economy. What do you think? Will Coca-Cola's balancing act inspire other brands to follow? Can the US remain an appealing base for iconic corporations amid shifting economic tides? And how much should sustainability weigh against cost-saving measures? Drop your thoughts in the comments, And don't forget to subscribe to Piston Pundit for your next pit stop in the automotive world. Thanks for watching and see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's plenty more to explore.